And we're back for our game 2 of this 3-game elimination match showdown here. We're live for the Summit 3 from the Beyond the Summit studios. It's time for CSW to see if they can claw their way into a deciding game 3, GoDz. Mineski stole that game 1 away from them. Both teams had their shots, but in the end, the Spectre, buyback, refresher, a double abyssal. It's just really hard to mess that up. It's really hard to mess that up.
Both teams had their shots. I had my shot as the loser.
Some nice Red Bull to, keep you going through the morning.
Yep.
It's like 9 a.m. here.
The sun rose up during that series. It was pitch black when we started, and then suddenly, ooh, nice and sunny.
Our European caster team, Kalogai and Zaori, are roused and ready to rock and roll. But we're not done yet. At this rate, we might still be casting when they finish.
We got 2 more 90-minute games in us, perhaps.
Chat was saying if this one's like 2 hours, then the next one's probably gonna be a day. So
I got the
Fortunately, we have a well-stocked fridge of caffeinated beverages. But with that said, guys, game 2 has begun. We're gonna look at the draft while we continue talking this one over. Okay, Mineski, GoDz, they're just gonna go with what works for them. They once again open with the Earthshaker Quap. You gotta. The funny thing is, even though they beat the Tinker, they're like, no, we're not doing that again. We're just gonna ban that shit.
Yeah, I would be totally against that. I hope one of the 2 teams picks up some actual right-click DPS this time around. You're running Spectre as a carry. That is not something which ends games. It can win games, but ending games is the tough part with that pick. So CSW going to stick with the Batrider, and I think with good reason. This is one of those just big playmaking heroes which 2D seems to excel on. So we'll see where the 2 teams look to head next. Mineski, the exact opening as of game 1.
By the way, just a fun fact about that last game. Apparently the 10 latest rack scenes over the last week are all Summit 3 matches. So we're getting all the long games here, GoDz, and it's only been SEA, so it's really just the SEA matches more than anything.
SEA delivers.
The teams are going blow for blow, man. They don't want to give anything up easy.
Yep. Well. Do you think it goes to a game 3, or Mineski after that game 1 going to ride the wave and get the game 2?
I don't know. CSW are going to change their game plan. I feel like that Tinker strat is one of their stronger strategies, though. Overall, like that was the first time it really worked, but they clearly think it's one of their best strategies because they've gone for like at least 3 times now. We've seen like a total of 6 games. I would slightly favor Mineski 2-0ing them, but like. Only like 60-40 or so.
Okay. Yeah, I think, even coming into this series, I feel like Mineski were slight favorites, like 55-45 or 60-40, and I think that remains the case for Game 2 specifically. For the series, obviously, a 1-0 lead. Mineski, probably heavy favorites at this point to take the series, but, CSW, they're tournament life on the line. This is where they got to dig deep and find some way of turning things around. They're having some signature heroes banned out, not just the Tinker, also the Leshrac gets taken out of the picture.
And we're going to see now the bans come out. CSW will remove that Lady Dusa. Mineski with the huge music of respect. First his Tinker. Potentially. We saw him play the Tinker once that last game. It was Chains, of course. And now the Leshrac also going to get banned out. All right. Well, as far as Mineski goes, the Drow is the other big hero that CSW may want to ban. We saw that Drow Templar Assassin combination. I don't know if you want the TA so much with a Batrider on the field, but just getting the Drow and then maybe like some offlaner that's a little bit more lockdown could be a choice. But CSW will actually ban an Ancient Apparition instead. Maybe they plan on a push strat here, GoDz. They do have the Chen. They could go into like a Luna, a Dragon Knight, and maybe even a Witch Doctor, some other healing type option. Dazzle's out there.
This is where Mineski would often pick their Drow, and that's something which you can look to punish with push strats, but the laning stage from Mineski with a Drow and a Queen of Pain, and you get like a 3rd range hero to benefit from the aura, it can be very potent. CSW will be running a 2-on-1 type setup, but for now, the Bristleback comes into play. A bit of a more tanky hero frontliner, something that can actually end games to some extent. You've got some actual physical damage.
You can smack buildings.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what CSW's answer is going to be, as they've got 3rd and 4th pick in their hands and haven't really revealed too much. The Batrider's that kind of neutral pick that, sure, it's going to be your offlaner 9 times out of 10, but as far as the big picture goes, the strategy, it's not really showing too much. CSW have their mid, their carry, as well as their kind of main laning support still to go with these last 3 picks.
Third pick now for CSW. That's the one route they could go. Of course, with the Bat Rider, there's certainly options to go into more of like a ganking type style here. I'm not sure what their go-to picks would be if they headed that direction. Any thoughts on like other options as far as like heroes that go well with the lasso to set up kills? That CSW might want to pick up.
Scarith is always nice. It gives good zoning potential as far as the lane
goes. Good versus
goes.
Bristle as well,
yeah.
especially.
CSW don't normally pick conventional heroes for music. They go Shadow Demon?
Shadow Demon Luna, maybe?
Yeah, I'm thinking you go Shadow Demon, you're looking to use this with some kind of main carry that can benefit from the extra illusions.
I'm leaning Luna because that's probably the best pushing carry. Drow is also a possibility, but her illusions are not really as good as the Luna's.
Yes, I think Luna's a little bit better for that push.
The other option is to go into like a Morphlane and just heavily rely on the Bat Rider Morphlane duo, but then it's a little odd to pick the Shadow Demon. You'd probably rather have that Ancient Apparition, if anything.
Yeah, I think if you're picking the Shadow Demon, if you're looking at taking this to mid to late game, you pick up a support that actually has lockdown and ways of dealing with a Quap or a Bristleback better. Shadow Demon doesn't actually zone a Bristle that well. You're much better off getting like a Lion for the lockdown, the burst damage. You're much better off getting a Skyrath Mage for the silence, as well as the zoning potential there. Shadow Demon definitely signifies CSW have something in mind as far as most likely going for some kind of a push fairly early on to take towers down and maybe not have another 90-minute game. They're probably feeling pretty exhausted. I think it's actually...
It's 3 hours later in Australia, or is it 2 if you're on the East Coast?
Probably like 1 a.m. maybe. I can quickly check.
I think it's later than that right now.
Yeah, I guess
think
it
it's
depends
2 or 3
where in Australia you are, but most of these players I think on the East Coast. It's 3 a.m.
It's already 3 a.m. If this is 2 90-minute games, they're going to be playing until 6 a.m. That's a pretty big disadvantage, but I guess it's just the unfortunate reality of being Australian.
The price you pay to be a pro Dota 2 player. Hey, we're casting Dota 2, and then we've been casting... We didn't get to see directly the sunrise, but it did happen during that last game. You know, it's always a wonderful thing.
That's the one cool thing about staying up really late. Like, I love doing it in college. If you stay up late, you can go watch the sunrise, but we never get to do it because if we're up that hour, it's because we're casting.
And during I-League, I remember I got to like 4 days in a row. I got to see the sunrise. I'm just like, this is interesting. You know, it's
because it would start like late evening our time.
Yeah, and it would end like the perfect time that it was like 7 or 8 in the morning. And I'll just go outside and actually get to see the sun for once. Normally,
that must be nice.
Yeah, LD's like, man, I haven't seen the sun in a good 2, 3 weeks.
I was reading about vitamin D deficiency, and I'm pretty sure I've got it.
That would be an interesting test to just like get the vitamin D levels of everyone in our household.
Well, Eternal Envy had vitamin D issues.
Yeah, I think everyone here does. Merlini does not see the sun very often. None of us do.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The only reason that Merlini sees the sun is because he has a girlfriend. If he didn't have a girlfriend, he would never see the sun.
I still feel like he doesn't even get dragged out that often.
No, he's been pretty serious about the team lately.
Yeah, that's actually been really impressive. He's been all in on that team and working and training hard with those guys.
All in on that vitamin D deficiency.
Good to see he still has the passion, you know.
Look at this last ban, by the way.
Ooh, okay. I think that's a kind of a Cuckoo pocket pick that Cuckoo kind of was picked up by Mineski as a pub star, and Meepo was one of his heroes that he used to.
I'm not really getting the Shadow Demon here, as you mentioned. Pretty bad at ganking Quap, even with the Chen.
Yeah.
And it's not really the best hero to have with a Shadow Fiend. Or rather what I would say is you don't need a Shadow Demon to make your Shadow Fiend pick work. You could have gone for a healing support like a Witch Doctor, maybe a Dazzle, if they wanted to go for that early aggression. Well, we'll see what this last pick is. Maybe they haven't fully revealed. It could still be that safe lane Luna, and then it would make a lot of sense, potentially.
Yeah, I think Luna would still be pretty good here. They are very lacking in lockdown, entirely based around the Bat Rider finding a pickoff, and then from there, teamfight breaks out. You've got very little. Unless Yule Shadow Fiend could be one way of it, where they look to kind of make up for that, having a secondary initiator, but...
Yeah, you can Spirit Bomb that Quap. But at some point, BKBs will address that.
Yeah, if you go that Yule's Blink build, you've got to imagine Quap, Bristle both going for that. So Mineski, their last pick. Which carry is it going to be? We get something very different here in Game 2. I
don't even know who plays this for Mineski. Is this
maybe Jay?
Jesse Vash will be that
Vash,
offlane Bristleback, probably.
I feel like I've seen Jesse Vash play off-lane Lone Druid in the past. I don't know if Jay plays Lone Druid. We'll find out.
Huh. Could be Cuckoo, I guess, in theory.
So you see the Lone Druid. I wonder if that changes your approach to what you want to pick.
It's really interesting because it looked like CSW might be gearing up for a heavy push, but now you look at the total composition and Mineski has the better pushing heroes. Now, whether or not they have the better lineup to set up the push with a pickoff, you probably give Batrider the edge for that, but it's definitely unexpected, GoDz.
Yep.
10 seconds remaining.
Well, chat is offering me their vitamin D.
Oh, good.
5
Nice,
seconds
guys.
remaining.
Good guy, chat. Huh. Ember.
So mid-game tempo controller, something where when Mineski are looking to push, take down towers, CSW be ready to fight. They'll have a SF with an early, whether it's a Yules or a mech, whatever it may be. That item comes up online around the time an Ember Spirit's ready to fight. So all their heroes come online at a kind of similar time, like around that 12 to 15 minute mark. They'll have a blink on the Batrider. SF will have his first item, whatever that may be. Musica will have his levels. It doesn't item-wise, like he'll have probably a phase drums or whatever he decides to go for. This is just a lineup that synergizes well in the sense that these heroes fight around a similar timing.
And we saw, who was it from MVP Phoenix that was playing the Ember? Why is my
QO,
brain not working?
probably?
Yeah, was it QO?
He normally plays
Phoenix
the
were
Ember
the
Spirit
team
for
that ran
QO.
Ember a bunch. Or
Yeah.
no, it was Rave. Sorry, it was Rave. That
Ray were doing it with Chrissy.
Yeah, Chrissy was ridiculous on Ember the other day.
5 seconds remaining.
Musica it could be that kind of game for him. It looks like he's going to get the protected safe lane farm. It also looks like Mineski have very few tools to deal with him unless Quap manages to farm up an Orchid. So yeah, it could be a big Ember Spirit game.
If you go that the Chrissy build where he goes for that Manta style first after the phase drums, you immediately have an answer to the Orchid as well. So, or maybe not immediately. There's maybe a small window where you have the Orchid and there's no Manta, kind of like when you're versing an anti-mage, but you can't rely on that Orchid lockdown from the moment you get it till the end of the game. So, we'll see what the two teams have in mind. Imagine CSW going to have a pretty standard laning setup here. The GoDz, one of his specialties.
The one thing I will say, GoDz, looking at the draft, it would be a little surprising if this game went anywhere near as long as the other one.
Oh yeah, if a team gets an advantage, they can actually take towers. Like that's oof, what a crazy concept, you know?
Yeah.
You get ahead, you can take towers.
Amazing.
Whew.
It's a miracle.
Picking heroes that can push. It's not even about having push strats. You just want you want heroes that can take objectives, which neither team really. It was just bizarre because neither team had it. If either team had just that one hero that could take towers, it could have been a very different game.
Yeah, that Razor, Death Prophet, Luna.
Yeah.
I mean,
Any right-click carry, yeah.
Druid,
Luna,
Pugna,
Lone Druid.
Dragon Knight.
Yep.
A lot of the heroes that take towers are just not in vogue, and
I mean, your Troll Jugger pretty good.
Yeah.
Troll especially, but
I feel like, yeah, that's true. I feel like the Trolls, it's like a nice bonus that he takes structures. He's just such a good fighter in general. And he takes Roche.
yeah, that's
really
where that
easily.
hero's pretty amazing.
That
still.
hero needs a nerf. I think most people feel that way at this point.
He's up there.
Maybe not the strongest hero right now, but he's got to be in the top.
I would
top
rather
8
like
to
some
10.
slight indirect nerfs to the items he likes to go for rather than like the hero and his skill set. 'Cause I feel like the hero itself only becomes amazingly good like when he has that SMY, Skadi, Blink, Satanic type items and he has like ridiculous HP and lifesteal and all that. So I feel like maybe you tweak some of those items rather than the hero. I don't know how you... I don't think any of those items single-handedly are...
Yeah,
OP,
it's like then
but-
you make items that are just balanced, kind of
Yeah.
shitty.
Yeah. I mean, Scotty's in a good... I feel like Scotty as Nime's in a good place. It's nice to see Scotty being picked up fairly frequently.
My main thing is when you see a troll pick, what's your response? It's not like you see say a storm and you're like, okay, we're gonna get like the silencer or Doom or Skywrath, and just try and shut him down early or shut him down later.
Yeah.
Like, I don't feel like you see a troll and you're like, okay, like we're gonna counter this hero. He's just, I guess it's kind of like Batrider. Like Batrider, you see the pick, you can't really do anything about it directly, but. I don't know. He's strong. Anyway, I enjoy playing the hero, so I won't complain if he doesn't get nerfed. With that said, GoDz, we get underway with Game 2. Mineski, despite all the pauses, it's still only been one game, and they hold the 1-0 advantage. Jay will be on your Bristleback, headed to the offlane. He's been playing some different roles as of late. Cuckoo on the Queen of Pain, going to be going mid. It will be Jesse Vash as the safe lane Lone Druid, getting the protected farm. Oa, your Witch Doctor, and RR, your Earthshaker. As for CSW, the Aussies, you got Tootie, the offlane Batrider, Going mid will be Chains, looking to impress on the Shadow Fiend instead of the Tinker. GoDz will be on the Chen this time around. Musica, the Ember Spirit. And in the safe lane will be 3-4-3 with the boots for a Shadow Demon. They do have a smoke, GoDz. They may be looking for some very early pressure.
Yeah, probably a hero you want to pick up for those early ganks here. And 3-4-3 going to be looking to get active. Set up some raises for the SF mid, but Queen of Pain, you get the fast blink out. Can get out. So Bounty Runes, let's see how things happen here. Cuckoo going to get bottom. Looks like SF, both mid laners likely to get one apiece.
The battle begins.
And neither are going to get a big advantage off of that. So
Worthy 20.
pretty standard stuff as far as the opening goes for the two teams and how they're going to be laning things.
I think a bit nicer for Shadow Fiend is he's just trying to rush the bottle.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not a big difference.
The main mix-up for Mineski is going to be the player roles, with Jay not on the kind of safe lane farming carry role. He's not like a lone druid player. Apparently, it's going to be Jesse Vash, who's played this hero a bit in the past.
I guess Jay doesn't really play micro heroes. I can't recall him having played any.
Plays Invoker, I guess, which is it's kind
That's
of
more of like a
hero.
That's
You
like a
just-
specialty tempo controller.
And you just select all your units and right-click towers. Like,
oh yeah,
as far as
the forge spirits.
yeah.
I mean, he probably won't be pulling off any ice level like creep blocks, but it's not the easiest bristleback game because you're up against that Shadow Demon as well as Ember. A lot of magic damage, the pure damage of Soul Catcher. I think Shadow Demon's one of the best supports to deal with the bristle in the laning stage. Jay may struggle here top.
Yeah, he's going to be pretty careful here. There's some good kill potential once Ember Spirit gets probably level 3. The 2 points in Searing Chains is the value for the extra duration, and not going to be.
And there's no way to
easiest lane
remove
for him.
the Flame Guard, so you don't need to level it up as much. Like
Yeah.
the damage scaling is not that impressive. It's just the absorb to make sure it stays alive. That's the big thing that really scales well, as well as the duration.
And Musica just has the early magic stick. He can stay in this lane and just sustain his spells. Use Searing Chains just to harass if he really wants to. And Jay's gonna have a rough time. He hasn't got that much HP.
RR's
regen.
on the move, GoDz. He wants to set up mid on Chains. He's gonna need a nice block here. He gets it.
Big play.
This is right before the Chen makes his own move. Chains will get slowly pounded and finished off. Cuckoo even getting the first blood level, almost
Top
4
lane,
already,
meanwhile,
but
they go in.
looks like Jay will also fall here. They're going to run him down. He has the extra tango. Not enough, though. That last lob of a Shadow Demon auto attack able to finish him off. A 1-for-1 around the map, but overall, you'd be very happy if you're Mineski to get that first blood and to get the Queen of Pain snowballing.
Yeah. Your offlane and dying hero
Oh,
there.
they're going again. They're not done yet.
Wow.
RR's coming in, but he didn't actually clarity. He could have gotten off a fissure. I think just got a little excited at that haster. Just gallops around. Well, he's going to create some space here.
Yeah. We haven't seen the Chen move out of the jungle just yet. He's going to look to get maybe a second creep before he goes for that first smoke, which he does have on himself. But for now, support headed up top towards your Brisback. And your offlaner dying is just not as big a deal because he's getting XP, he's getting actually some farm too, just the 6 CS, but
And now they're waiting to punish any sort of chase. They have the Witch Doctor in position. And Bristle also can catch up. That's the other thing. If they want to stack the Ancients, there's some offlaners that can't really, but he certainly can. So the last lane we haven't really looked at is this Lone Druid safe lane up against an offlane Bat who does have quite a few stacks here. We're going to see double stacks coming out from the Chen, or rather stacks 2 camps at
golems
once.
upon golems upon golems. This
He's
is
got, what, 1,
3,
2,
2
3.
and a 1, yeah.
That is awful.
It's still like okay as far as you've got like a double stack of non-golems and like a single camp of non-golems, but that is 50% golems out of 6 camps. No fun. No fun for your bat. That's honestly one of those things which can really impact the pace of the game. Whether you get like a 10-minute blink or a 12-minute blink can kind of be dependent on that. So GoDz can't even really help clear those out. He can persuade some of them, but I don't think he really wants to persuade.
Oh, they are going in top lane onto Jay, but the Quills are stacking up. Musica has to be cautious about this as the Witch Doctor arrives. All of a sudden, 343 is dead, and Musica is going to be forced back. So they get the kill here. Now the Shaker even swinging, and they might even get more kills if they try to engage with this Chen army. Oh no, he's actually going mid. RR not going to join that top lane. So now Jay, surrounded, gets stomped. This could be good for CSW, but there's a multitude of creeps here. Musica doesn't want to go in. His Flame Guard was cooling down, and Jay just walks away scot-free.
Yeah.
And the worst part is they're committing 3 heroes to this top lane. That said, though, GoDz has been getting good levels. Level 3 while stacking a lot of camps.
Yeah, Musica just taking a lot of damage in general. Has his bottle on the courier, which he's going to look to fly out ASAP to help him out.
Coming back in, but this Witch Doctor just so good at denying that aggression.
Smart lane rotation, just because Lone Druid's going to be able to match up fine against 2D. 2D, one entangle. He dies there. He is playing with fire, and not his own fire. That was
Yeah.
The bear got 2 hits off. Neither was an entangle. That is not a position you want to put yourself in. Top lane, meanwhile, Jay gets initiated on, goes down just barely.
Oh no, he should have probably just backed here. No, he'll be okay. It was a close call, though, but mid lane, Shadow Fiend actually gets the kill first on the Quap. Must have gotten at least 1 raise off. Probably. It's a level 3 raise. Might have tanked some tower shots on the way in, but 1-for-1 trade there, as well as the Bristleback dying top. CSW seizing some momentum right back. After a very good start by Mineski, it's going to even out and actually start swinging CSW's way.
So 2D's actually at 1,500 gold. I don't know where this guy's making his money, but he's going to have a ridiculously fast blink if he can get some jungle farm, which he's not really going to be allowed to do, unfortunately. The Chen taking most of, taking the big camp entirely.
Leaving the golems. How fun.
Yeah. Here you go, Bat Rider.
Have your mud golems, dude.
They haven't even got any real good physical damage. SF can do okay. SF's going to come in and look to clear it out with the Chen. So.
Fortunately, like you said, the Bat's getting a lot out of the offlane. Otherwise, he'd be really sad.
He's still on track for a 10-minute blink dagger, like at latest, it feels like, assuming things keep on going as well as they are.
It does come down to if you get that root. Now that there are phase boots on the bear, it's a lot easier to chase him down as well.
Get the ward down to at least scat out that jungle.
Man, they really are just not going to let these camps be contested freely.
CSW should have a very good idea of this. They saw the Earthshaker poke his head up. If they clicked his hero, they saw that he had a ward and there's only 1 ward, so they should probably know that there's a ward somewhere.
No sentries right now is the main thing.
So it at least respawns. So they know if it blocked the camp, they'll probably sentry it, but without it blocked, they may just say, okay, they see us when we're jungling, only jungle if we know it's safe. And
looks like 2D wanted to scout for some potential Radiant stacks, but they're not the best team to clear those, and in the end, the bear's going to see him coming now, leveling up.
Yeah, it's got the phase boots on that bear too. That's where he has to be pretty cautious. Doesn't have the Tranquils for the extra movement speed.
Yeah, nor does he have the armor. That root really hurts. And as well, the right clicks in general. Oh, is kind of hiding out here in the woods, maybe looking to ambush him. In terms of CS, it's a big lead for Mineski on their cores, but it's being made up for to some extent by the Chen. He's the slight X factor, only 12 CS, but he's gotten a lot of big creeps, it looks like. So he's stacking everything. Look at this by GoDz.
This guy's controlling the jungle over. I think it may just be time for Bat to fall back and take the jungle farm to get that blink dagger, because it seems he's being pressured out of this bottom lane.
He's not really hitting creeps. Oh, well. I don't see Bristleback getting out of this one, GoDz. Chains are going to come out. Musico will drop very low to the Quills, though. Whew. He remnants out after he dies.
Surprised he didn't pop that stick, because if Bristle gets like a passive proc on that Quill Spray, maybe he gets a kill.
It felt like if he had like 50 more health, he gets like 1 more passive there. Oh, Cuckoo. A lot of dangerous moves here by everyone, or at least playing close to death. Now 2D is going to find a stack. Queen of Pain had a mini one over here, and 2D will happily claim it. His sojourn around the world ends up working out. Now Mineski going to smoke. Looks like they maybe want to steal these dire stacks. Maybe just go for a play top lane where Oa's the one to get caught out. He's already dropped the cask. He has 8 stick charges, though, and Bristle Boss joins the fray. They're going to have a blink. A Scream comes out. 343 will go down here. They want to hold on to that Queen of Pain ult. They won't need to use it. There's no neutrals to deny to. 343, sadly, on a fool's errand as he runs around in circles. He'll end up dropping.
He got the value Soul Catcher onto the range, or the melee creep before he died. But good for CSW there. Just cut your losses. Musica didn't even try and go back in, but you kind of mentioned it. They want to contest these jungle stacks. There's a lot of stacks lurking around, but...
all columns, man.
Yeah, exactly. No one's taking these. GoDz, though, going to get picked off.
Big one. Nice. Gets 2 off the bat. Musica is going to be able to retreat. It looks like actually Cuckoo in slight danger. There's a lasso, and they'll get him. Chains can follow this one up, and Cuckoo will end up going down. The raise to finish it. Chains will happily collect that last hit, but it does free up the top lane where Oa as well as Jay are combining to muscle this tower down. The one hero who's been very quiet and inactive has been Jesse Vash. Just sitting bottom, getting his farm on. He is about even with that Shadow Fiend in CS. I'm curious to see the item build. The one build that you can go for is like that kind of more standard Midas into Maelstrom, you know, maybe into AC. The other option is to go like Mask of Madness Blade Mail and just be a combat druid with very mixed results. I feel like either you get a lot done early or that build really falls off. We'll see what Jesse Vesh wants to do. Just hanging on to his goal for now.
I think for now, CSW in their right to just not worry about the Lone Druid getting too much farm. It's kind of like that anti-mage effect where if you just have a straight up offline, you give anti-mage his early free farm and just deal with the hero later. Especially a Lone Druid, you can kite him pretty decently. You've got decent lockdown in like a Searing Chains. You've got Flame Break for control. You've got ways of at least handling the bear.
Yeah, you've got that Purge, the Napalm, just all kinds of annoying spells to deal with him.
So it's not the biggest concern as far as him getting free farm down bottom. They're getting a lot out of the lane as well as the other lanes, with Bat just now 100 gold away from his blink.
I think Bristleback is probably the bigger concern. Jay just getting a lot out of the offlane thanks to that Witch Doctor, and they are going to try to punish it. Witch Doctor, though, comes in. Musica has to be careful here. A timely cast bounce could end up killing him off. He'll chain his way through. That Soul Catcher doing good damage. They'll now trap Oa, who's going to TP out, but a secondary trap comes in. As a hasted Quaparize throws out the Scream, does not want to use the Blink offensively and get caught under a tower. Jay continuing to duel it out with Musica. Cuckoo, he just wants to go for these Blink Scream drive-bys, and Musica will barely make his way out. Now the Purge. Very patient play from your Shadow Demon. But it's not going to be enough to bring down Jay. They'll get the Queen of Pain kill. Now the Creep's working against them, but they'll probably end up feeding a bit here. 3-4-3 may get caught. Another Shadow Strike.
Oh, there's a blink on this Bat.
The Ember can also remnant his way back in. Cuckoo almost gets the kill on 3-4-3. May take down the Shadow Strike. It's, I believe, a level 2 dagger. He could be denied. He'll get denied now. Back and forth exchanges everywhere, but Shadow Fiend the real winner. He's just been sitting mid and farming while this Quap has been ganking. Gets the tower. Completes his mech practically.
Kind of a 50-50 trade. I guess Lone Druid, similar story bottom lane. But yeah, the fight at top seem 50-50, although they're not done yet. Musica back in, has a Searing Chains, and that's going to be the death of Jay. Yep, you betcha. That kind of tilts things slightly in the CSW favor. And I feel
Jesse Vesh is going straight Relic, actually.
Okay.
3,200 gold.
The traditional build, I guess.
Yeah, this is like the super traditional build. The Maelstrom Midas is more like the modern traditional build, I guess. Like the past year or two, it's been more of a go-to, but this is going to be a fast Relic. I haven't seen this straight Radiance Rush in a long time. Watch me say that, and then he just like says screw it and buys a Maelstrom anyway.
The Caster Curse will strike once more.
I'm trying to get him to buy a Maelstrom. That's why I'm saying. I mean, you know, there's always that like pocket Desolator pickup, but I don't really feel like the rest of the lineup works well enough to justify it.
I think Radiance is a solid choice here. It gives you some good split push. You don't have to always have your hero in danger, and cancel some of the Blink Dagger on the Bat Rider potentially in a fight. So some nice applications to it.
Lasso's online again. And CSW are smoking with it. They have their Purge, level 8 Shadow Demon. Oh, hello. Slightly off the mark on the Blink Initiation. Does get off the Lasso, but the Death Ward comes out. Oh, there's your Flame Break to cancel. Well played there by Tootie. Fortunate to have that one. They will almost bring down Oa. Not quite, though. Where's that root? Give me a root. Give me a root. He's just not getting them. There you go. Now Tootie's trapped. He's going to end up going down here to Jesse Vash. Tries to finish off the Witch Doctor. Can't get him.
Meanwhile,
still
CSW sneaking to Roche.
1 for 1, but if they get this Roche, it'll be well worth the trade.
Don't think Mineski have a clue that this is going down as well. Some heroes just walk past the Radiant Ward, so maybe now they get an idea. Pretty sure CSW smoked
They can't contest this, though. Like, how do you go into the pit?
Yeah.
But maybe the Spear Bear walks in and distracts you, but that's about it.
This is a no-go. So SF going to have Mech as well as an Aegis now. This is where CSW can start 5-manning. This is the stage, kind of talked about during the draft, this 12 to 15 minute stage where all their heroes come online at the same time. Ember with phase drums and levels. Most important thing is going to be the levels there. Chen just with a creep army. SF has his one item, which is going to be the Mech, and an Aegis on top of that, which is kind of just like the icing on the cake, and Bat with his Blink. So this is where CSW can take objectives pretty much at will. They can get the tier 1 top, get the tier 1 bottom. It's just going to come down to efficient movement around the map. You don't want to just go like from the tier 1 top to the tier 1 bottom where it's like a long walk across the map. You want to try to be as efficient as possible with your movements.
Well, Jay is trying to get ready for that impending push as he will farm up some Ancients here. RR soaking the experience. Bring down the Dragons now up to 1,600 gold. It looks like he'll be the mech carrier, or maybe he goes into a completed Crimson Guard, but that seems a little underwhelming this game. A lot of magic damage. In fact, a ton of magic damage. So yeah, I think more likely you see the mech from Jay. But for now, just sitting on a buckler, maybe. Not sure what he wants to do just yet. And they'll TP Cuckoo towards the bottom lane.
So Mineski, I think the big thing they want to do when they see that maybe 5-man coming is just push these other lanes. They've got a lone druid, he can pressure towers pretty well. And the lone druid doesn't have his radiance yet, so they're not quite ready. This tower may give him the money he needs, though.
Chains wants to deny it. It's going to be tough to out-damage the bear, though. Gets the last hit, but Jesse Vash gets wrangled into a Requiem, as well as a Soul Catcher. Man, that really hurts, but it's not enough. Oh, there it is. Backup comes from GoDz. He gets off the big test of faith. They'll secure the kill. 42 seconds on the sideline, was not able to complete a Radiance recipe. They're still coming in, though. They want to bring in Cuckoo for this. Chains has the Aegis. He's going to be losing it quickly. Cuckoo already used the ult, so won't be able to bring down anyone else. Gets Troll Trap once, stomped again. Secondary Troll Trap can come out now. Cuckoo gets solo killed by the Chen.
Wow.
Chains just right-clicking like once that entire exchange.
The Michael skills coming into play. GoDz delivering there.
That was some swag right there.
The Ember Spirit did die bottom lane. The reveal of the Queen of Pain Orchid.
That's what the Quap ult was used for.
Yeah. The Queen of Pain Orchid was revealed to Musica down bottom for a solo kill with the Orchid Sonic Wave.
Jay, you might want to spend your gold now, my friend. There's a Remnant forward. Oh, he's going to live.
Right, nice little sidestep, gets out of the Fire Remnant path. Then CSW will back off. This game very much in the balance here. Mineski with a slight gold lead, but experience going the CSW direction.
Okay, he is going Crimson Guard. Or Vanguard into mech, but probably Crimson. I don't know.
Yeah, the
Crimson Guard's pretty underwhelming this game. Look at, like, they have Raises, Requiem, Embers, mostly magic damage at this stage.
Yeah, Chen creeps are so-so. Whoa! Say hello to PGG.
Yeah, to be fair, most Echo Slams don't get much done at this stage, but
it's not actually. It's not a wasted cooldown per se. It's more just a.
Like
you're not embarrassing.
You're not counting on it, but yeah, it's definitely embarrassing. Especially because we caught it. If we miss it, no biggie. Let's see. Okay, he's made his purchase. It will be the Crimson Guard. It's good versus the Chen army. That's the one thing it's good against. Otherwise, I feel like this doesn't do much.
I guess Sleight of Fist is maybe one of the options. It's where it helps everyone a little bit against that physical damage. But yeah.
Sleight of Fist isn't very strong now, though. Yeah, it's like strong later.
It'll take a bit longer to come on. So for CSW, their main move as far as taking towers on objective hasn't really worked. They took that fight mid lane, which wasn't really an advantageous fight. They lose the Aegis. They can't really go around as easily as they'd like to take those tier 1s now. I feel like they missed a bit of a window of opportunity. The next move for them will be looking to just use smokes and try find pickoffs, because they can't really take those objectives without pickoffs now. The 5-man just not going to be as effective against the Radiant Lone Druid, against the newly purchased Crimson Guard. They can defend on the Mineski side and also take objectives. So Mineski are going to have to react to what CSW do, but they've got good kind of options depending on what CSW choose to do.
GoDz is working towards his eggs now. That, of course, getting that delicious HPR from the big golem will be very nice for them if he's able to find it.
One of the few times you don't see the Chen going for a mech as well, with Chains opting for it himself.
The one downside to that approach is it does somewhat limit their progression later on. Like, Chains is still going to be a strong hero, but this mech, you go forward later into the game, you'd rather have a Yules at some point than a mech on your Shadow Fiend. So
here's the smoke.
Does slightly hurt him.
Oh, the risky. Let's pick up the rune while we're smoked underneath a ward. Always like, are they watching? Are they not watching? Even if they're not watching, they see a rune disappeared and there was no one that dinged on the minimap. It's like someone's invis or someone is smoked.
And they're getting aggressive here. They make a deep rotation. But now the Batrider gets revealed. Oh, maybe going to find Jay here. He's got the completed Crimson Guard. Already spent his gold. Even if he goes down, they pull him to the low ground. They will chain him there. Fissure coming out, connecting on 2. The Bear slowly burning everyone with Radiance. At CSW just want to back off. Will there be a redemption Echo Slam from RR? He wants it. Where's that dunk? No, just going to try to clobber him in the meantime. Chains will bring down the Witch Doctor, who tried to use a Death Ward. 343 also on the run. It seems this Radiance Bristleback combo is just running roughshod over CSW. They lose 4. Oh, man. No. All momentum gone. The Chen army going to get cleaned up, but even a root to add insult to injury. Fleeing to the south of the Dark Troll Summoners. Oh, man. That's
Chen counting down the time for the respawn so he can pull him back, but SF didn't even get to use his mech that fight. CSW, like, they went on the Bristle, but couldn't bring him down fast enough. The Tread's Crimson Guard paying off. That build.
And that's with the Shadow Demon, who's in theory like a counter to this hero.
Yeah, has even max Soul Catcher as well to try and maximize the damage output. But
and with Lone Druid, you win a fight, you do take towers, unlike what we saw last game.
Yep. So yeah, good Jesse Vash, a good chunk of change on top of the Radiance. Has the Phase Radiance, another 1,000 gold to spend, and this is looking like a pretty good position for Mineski to be in. CSW have the top net worth here in the SF, but beyond that, the rest of their call's not looking too flashy. And SF, some of that money's been invested, well, it's been invested in a mech and then a Yasha, so they're not really these big late game items or even like playmaking items. Like the Yule's Blink, you at least have that kind of
You could just
hero
like
kill
shut
potential.
somebody down, just delete them from the game.
Yeah, I don't think his item build was necessarily the wrong item build. It's more just it limits CSW's options now that he's the top net worth hero and he's not like going to be a true carry or a flashy ability. He's not going to have the ability to make flashy plays.
Yeah, we saw the idea for CSW was like, as you said, get like your key basic items, blink on bat, level the key levels, get the Chen ultimate, the bat lasso, get your drums, phase boots on Ember, pick up the mech on the Shadow Fiend, build towards the eggs on the Chen, and then just go. Take Roche, take towers, Death Ball, but they didn't really take enough objectives, it seems. And now because they committed to that strategy with the Shadow Fiend item build, and it wasn't a disaster, but it also didn't work that well. Now it puts them at a deficit if they want to move into more of a late game approach.
Something Jesse Vash has done well in the Lone Druid is have this bear kind of solo pushing lanes with the Radiance. He even had it creep skipping like up near the top tier 3 tower earlier, so he's made it a lot harder for CSW to take those objectives because of his movement with this Spirit Bear. And
Mineski's showing some impressive hero diversity over the course of this qualifier. We saw the Tiny Wisp. They busted out once, had 1,000 GPM Tiny Wisp, then haven't even tried to use it again since then. They go instead for the Lone Druid. This time, Jay's been playing a variety of heroes. And now we're seeing him on the off lane. We see the role rotation as Jesse Vash takes over safe lane. They haven't won this one yet, but if nothing else, they've shown quite some interesting diversity in style, I would say.
nice defensive play coming out from the Earthshaker. Not Oa on the Earthshaker this time around. RR doing a formidable job here, showing that Mineski, like, no hero diversity, and even the players can all play the heroes that's needed of them in a given game. And right now,
it just seems like Mineski are getting more off the map. They're pushing all the lanes. They've got the aggressive wards up, really good vision. Chen can't really split push that much with his army because all of the cores of Mineski can just kill the army. The Radiance can kill the army, the Quap can kill the army, and so can the Bristle, or at least force them back. So there's not much split push. The one hero who's not likely to die is your Ember, but he's also not going for a hard carry build. He goes for the Yasha. Maybe can even complete the Manta to deal with the Queen of Pain Orchid, but this delays his farming speed, and Mineski just, in general, getting more accomplished around the map.
Yeah, this item seems to work when you're actually kind of snowballing and doing really well. When you're
when
playing
ahead
from behind, it's like you may as well just go for the high ground Battle Fury defense, which they're not ridiculously far behind, but it looks like they're getting to that point where they're not going to be able to defend their towers too well. They're not really coping with the Lone Druid, kind of just split pushing lanes and creep skipping with the Radiant Spare. They're just CSW just not getting enough out of the map. Roshan, though, maybe going to be another kind of kick in the arm here as far as CSW are concerned.
They're going to get the Butterfly on the Shadow Fiend as well. That's a pretty damn big pickup. That said, there are quite a few things here that are still going to be a concern for him. That Queen of Pain burst damage. There is no BKB yet on your Shadow Fiend.
I like the move into this like Butterfly, even after this going to like a Satanic Manta type build. I don't think BKB is useful for sure, but I think just going right click is going to be the only way to maybe win this game and turn it around.
It does seem like one of those games where Shadow Fiend's got to go ham. He can't just be a utility hero. He needs to be their true one-position music because itemization is kind of forced their hand.
Yep. And there's enough damage that will go through a BKB that he's probably more concerned about.
Musica may get caught out by the Echo Slam. Oh, barely able to run away. Looks like that Aftershock stun came out as he was already like already mid-remnant. It's a close call, though. Well, if you're Mineski now, I guess next steps are going to be get your AC on the Bristle. Maybe a Shiva's, but probably AC. Blink on the Earthshaker. Oh, okay, Jesse Vash is going AC, so maybe this is a Shiva's then for
not a conventional item, but it seems decent this game. You know, SF is going to be doing a lot less damage. Same for your Ember Spirit. Everyone just going to beef up a little bit with this.
Other option is like Mjolnir on the bear, but it's not really the go-to item when you already have the Radiance.
And Jesse Vash is very close to his Assault Caress as well. Has the Plate Mail on his hero. The bear has got the Hyperstone, so getting closer and closer here. Finds 343, just scouting out with the bear, and now going to start pestering.
Has to purge it just to run away.
Yeah. Doesn't
Sad.
even do damage, so he still gets the return away.
Sad times.
CSW, their main option right now is to
They get an Aegis
try
and
get
they're dodging,
ganks.
and then they dodge
Yeah.
fights. It's just kind of it kind of speaks to the state of the game.
5-man is just not efficient play for them. Like, they could maybe get a top tier 1 tower, but Mineski will just give them that tower if they 5-man and take farm on their side of the map in mid and bottom lane. Even if Mineski don't get something like a tier 2 bottom, they're still getting more overall farm, it feels like, if CSW emphasize 5-manning too much. So CSW, best bet is to go for like 3-man gank squad with like a smoke with your Bat, Shadow Demon, and like an Ember Spirit, and have your SF keep farming as much as possible, because you've got to get to a late game Shadow Fiend, it seems like now. Well, Mineski, they're the ones in control. They have that 1-0 lead. It was a 90-minute game 1, but 25 minutes in, they're looking solid.
Showing good stamina here. Well, both teams are, but Mineski apparently showing a little better as they are leading. Currently by 8k gold, 3k experience.
Yep.
A win here pushes them into the next round of the losers bracket, where they would be one of the final 4 teams, and they would face MVP Hot 6, who honestly looked dominant earlier today. So wouldn't be surprised at all to see MVP Hot 6 even take care of them and move along into the top 3 into that loser bracket final. But Mineski still got to take care of business versus CSW. It's not over yet.
Yeah.
It's just it's a comfortable position.
And they're getting all the luxury items up now. Having an Ag Scepter this early on your Witch Doctor is
Oh, wow.
huge. The actual, like, if he just has to wait for the Bat Rider to go in, use his lasso, Bat Rider, if he sees this, is going to have to hold his Flame Break every single team fight for the Witch Doctor ulti. If Bat Rider somehow goes in, lassos for a kill and dies, and then Witch Doctor gets an ulti off, that's just... This early on, a level 2 Witch Doctor Death Ward with Ag Scepter is insane damage. SF does have evasion if it's targeting him as a first strike, but even then, it's not gonna... It's only going to negate so much of the damage.
The big item they still want to get is RR's Blink Dagger. He's a bit of a ways off of it. As for CSW, Chen finally has his Ags. They'll be hoping for that precious plus HP aura to come their way.
He's praying here. He's been camping around these Ancients for a bit now.
Yeah, there's been a lot of Thunderhides and Dragons this game.
And one thing CSW also resort to now with the play from behind is going to be that Chen split push, which is only so effective. Cuckoo finds the Creep Army here. Doesn't use the Sonic Wave, doesn't have the Ag Scepter. Going for the Orchid Linken's build this game around. Good game for Linken's. You're against a Bat, and not surprised to see Cuckoo. He likes to go for these more defensive builds rather than like the initiation type build after the Orchid.
They just don't need damage. Like they have Bristle, Witch Doctor, Lone Druid. A lot of damage from 3 of these 4 heroes. As long as he's just a presence in the fight, kind of can chase heroes down, initiate. I think his next item probably is the Hex, just to give them some reliable jump.
Looks like Mineski are ready. The Aegis expiring soon, and they decide this is the time to go. They may lose a Spirit Bear. Gets the Phase Boots, and looks like it will escape out.
Unfortunately, it's only an Ancient Black Dragon. No
Yeah, this is
Golem this day.
This is going to be a tough fight for CSW. They can't really rely on this Aegis as it expires in about 15 seconds time.
Oh, they silence 343. No purge for you. And Mineski now surging forward towards high ground. They are pushing into an Aegis right now. That's how confident they are in their position. And
I think
maybe
they know
they
the
should
timing,
be.
so
They're just so strong right now. 2D
that.
in danger. The Aegis going to wear off exactly at that moment. Jay will be in the front lines. Pops the Crimson Guard. Quap Bolt over the top. Chains will have to turn and fight, but he's now silenced, taking that bonus damage. Your Death Ward. It goes, and it continues to pound into CSW. Bringing music low. Jay diving tier 4s and not even being punished for it. Penitence comes out. The Bear's waiting for Chains, who bought back for this. This may be a dieback on the Shadow Fiend, or maybe it's a great turn the other way. It's going to be close. The Bear finishes him off. Shadow Fiend hits the deck not once but twice. And all it costs Mineski are their 2 supports. Devastating turn of events for CSW.
Really good knowledge of Mineski. Their strength there. They just picked up a lot of their big items. The Shivers on the Bristleback to go with his Vlads gave them... Bristle himself has huge armor, but just helping the team out with the auras from the Shivers, the Vlads, and the Assault Crest had just been picked up on the Jesse Vash side, and they knew that Aegis was just about to expire. So they timed that high ground push with the Aegis expiring. Just really smooth play and good execution from Mineski.
They're close, GoDz.
They're very close. It took them 9 minutes, but they kind of just understand when their lineups can go and push and when they're just kind of at their weak points. Like last game, we saw them play super patient, and that game dragged out, but with kind of good reason. This game, though, they're not waiting around. They're going for it with the high ground pushes when they can.
Oh, he just wants his flank dagger. Poor guy.
Close.
He just died bottom. Now he dies mid again.
He's
As well as Mineski are doing, it's not been the funnest game for this Shaker.
Yeah.
But he's gotten the job done.
That's right. He's
Gets the first blood for them earlier. He's been a force when they need it.
his team
Yeah,
will
I think to go
carry
back
the
to what you
slack.
said, like, it seemed like Mineski historically a lot of fun to watch, some really flashy play. That was what they were mostly known for. But this Mineski feels like they have a much better understanding of their like bigger game plan and strategy, and for the most part are able to stick to it and follow it. That used to be a problem for them.
Yeah.
They used to just always want to fight, always play aggressive, dive recklessly.
They'd get ahead like early game with like lane dominating heroes and just great individual play, but then throw it away because they focus too much on the individual play. This time around, it's much more a kind of cohesive unit. Well, let's see things gonna progress here. The Ag Scepter on the Queen of Pain, a nice little pickup, just allowing her to more aggressively push out lanes, even just deal with Chen creep armies and not have to worry
They're
about the
going on
cooldown.
Jay. They are. They're
He's
gonna.
tanky. He's
There's a Requiem
very
directly on top of him with Soul Catcher. He's still gonna survive that. Takes some damage. Jay will end up going down here, but he gets the Bat Rider first. That was a cocky maneuver by Jay, but Cuckoo will now join the mid lane. Lincoln Sphere keeps him relatively healthy. The Bear gonna hunt down 343. Is there a first hit route? Yes, there is. And down he goes. Gem is gonna be salvaged. Mineski will grab that right back from CSW. 2D just dropped it. And now they may just push down mid, Bristleback or
They're
not.
signaling bottom lane. They may look to get creeps on the high ground at mid, and then the Bear may just sneak in bottom with the tower already down to 480 HP.
Nice move by Jesse Vash in through the side. There's a glyph.
Bottom tower is
It'll have to be used very soon here if they want to hold. And Cuckoo split pushing. Nope, they're not going to glyph. Cuckoo. Yeah, he'll just blink away.
Back in, they want this melee barracks.
They are getting caught out by the chains. From the low ground is Oa. He's just going to cast a zoning death ward, which will force chains back.
Okay.
Actually forces them all back.
Not the
But it's time to walk away.
Yeah, the Death Ward on cooldown and didn't get too much done, so probably good move from Mineski. They made a go at it, but they'll just push out the waves a bit and then keep picking up more items. RR finally looks like he'll have his Blink Dagger for this next fight. Hopefully I don't jinx that one.
Poor guy.
He's
done his job, though.
He has definitely done his job. He's had a good game on this Earthshaker. And Mineski, the cores are all doing what they need to do. 3 top net worth heroes, the Quap, the Bristle, the Lone Druid. And all in fantastic shape. Bristle has a Heart of Tarrasque, 300 gold.
Oh, God. And CSW do not... Their big source of solutions for Bristle is that Soul Catcher and a Spirit Bomb.
Yeah.
I think they've hit the whole thing on him last fight, and he still only dropped to like half health with the back turned.
SF making the move to go just pure damage as well. Picks up a Crystallis, going to go for that Daedalus, so recognizing that just this team doesn't have damage late game, especially with the way the Ember Spirit's itemized that Musica's Daedalus himself is going to be much later on.
No real hurry here for Mineski. They're content to just rat the map. Cuckoo constantly spamming the ultimate on cooldown on creep waves. The Bear farming wherever it pleases. Bimbo. Jay sometimes foolishly, but always just parading down the lane. Just teasing CSW, urging them to come after him. The Chen army now getting cleaned up. There's your completed Heart Gods. 3,000 HP, 39 armor. And now they smoke on the back of this. They want to make their move. A wand fight here, if CSW can't spam a bunch of buybacks, almost certainly means 2 lanes of Rex, I would say. Because, well, actually there's a glyph, but even so, I think a wand fight, probably 2 lanes.
Well, trying to secure themselves Roshan. Batrai's got Firefly on cooldown for a little bit. Uh-oh.
There's your death ward. That's some hate for poor 343.
Into the Roche Pit with a DD rune on Cuckoo. This will be a free Roche, it looks like, for the Pinoy squad.
Man, he drops fast. The Goose stacking up the minus armor from the Assault Cuirass. They close in on this game too, and Mineski, should they take it, will win the series. They already lead 1-0 on the best of 3, and I think with this Aegis Gods, you just go high ground. There's really not much to wait for anymore. Everybody's farmed. They've got all their core items. They've got their key levels. There is just no reason not to bull rush. Get the lanes out first if you want to play it safe, but then you go.
Yeah, I'm all aboard that plan. It doesn't seem like there's any crazy big items that they're waiting on, so We'll see them make their move. It looks like down towards bottom lane where there's no tier 3 tower. Cuckoo can pick up another big item soon if he wants to with 4.2k. But everything else is...
Oh god, they have to kill this bristle twice now. He's got the cheese.
Oh man. The cheese and Aegis is this... This is scary. This is definitely bottom lane unless Mineski really screw up the execution here, and very likely going to be mid lane as well.
Dude, he's prepping with a Firefly and maybe looking for that easy lasso target. The Witch Doctor probably the best one after the Earthshaker. We'll get the lasso, but he gets clipped by a fissure on his way out. Quickly dealt with. Requiem does come out, but the cask, look at it go. Bouncing back and forth. GoDz gets pounded by the Spirit Bear once. Can they kill off Chains? Where's that root? The evasion coming into play. They will hold. Actually killing off 3 heroes, though, forcing out a buyback. Jay diving deep has the... Oh, there's your Echo. RR, finally, he'll find it. And J-Pups the cheese just in the nick of time to keep him alive. Cuckoo forces out the GG. CSW, your Aussie representatives fall short here. They will not come to land in LA. It will be Mineski who stay alive. It now makes 2 Filipino teams, top 4 contenders, Rave as well as Mineski, and 3 teams based in Korea, 2 of them mostly Korean players, moving into that top 2 position.
Things have changed a lot in SEA.
Top 3,
you go back a couple of years, I mean, even just look at TI, it's always been the Malaysian and the Singaporean teams. They're the ones who have dominated the SEA scene, but today it's a very different story.
The one team that, you know, maybe can still represent those countries would be eHome China, I suppose, now that they're actually eHome Malaysia. But good showing here by Mineski, looking really solid.
This team is... I think they have a good chance against Hot 6. It's one of those things where Hot 6, as hot as they're looking, I feel like Mineski strategically don't really have any weaknesses and have just good experience and may just kind of outdraft Hot 6 in some ways, but we'll see.
Out of the 4 teams remaining, I honestly think any of them could win.
Yep.
I would put my money on Rave, probably, but I wouldn't be that confident about it.
Who would you say is the best chance against Rave, like, in a final?
I don't think... You know, I actually don't know. I don't think Mineski matches up that well.
I'm trying to... Yeah,
I feel like Hot 6 might even have the best shot versus Rave.
I'm not even sure.
I don't know if Hot 6 is actually the second best team, but I think they might have the best shot versus them. It's hard.
When Mineski met Rave, it was a pretty one-sided 2-0 series, but the way Mineski played today, I feel like could be a different story. They didn't play very well against Rave the other day.
It also felt like Rave was a little reliant on like that Chrissy Ember Spirit, maybe something that they've been exposed with where they could be punished moving forward in the tournament.
Okay.
We're down to 4 teams, guys. We'll take one quick look at the bracket here, and then we're going to wrap it up, call it a day, and pass you off to our Starladder Europe coverage, brought to you by Zayori and Karogai, I do believe. But yeah, 4 teams now remain. Today we said goodbye to 5EVA and CSW, and it is now just Filipino-Korean domination gods. Hot 6 and Mineski will be playing soon. Rave versus MVP Phoenix, your other match, and then we'll be down to 3 teams. The next game tomorrow is the loser bracket match, or is it the winner bracket
we'll
finals?
Have both matches. There's 2 matches tomorrow, so we'll have the winner bracket and then the loser bracket round 3. And then the day after that will be just the loser bracket final, and the day after that the grand final. So 3 days left, 2 series tomorrow, and then 1 the 2 days after that.
And only 1 ticket, all expenses paid to the team that wins to come here to LA to compete